Racism has been a part of the history of the United States for 400 years. And it's expressed itself in different ways, but sadly, it's still very much a part of our DNA today. And that's why it's so difficult, because it's woven deeply into the history of the United States. So the challenge to eradicate racism is really a tough one. I've known some of you for, like I said, my whole adult life. Some of you I've never met before. I'm going to make the assumption that that everybody in this screen would say, I am not a racist. So that's the beginning assumption of this talk. We would all say, I am not a racist. What I would like to explore in the next 10 minutes and then afterwards with our conversation is, what does it mean to move from saying, I am not racist to I am anti-racist? I think that's the challenge before us. I think that's what Jesus is calling us to move from I am not racist to I am anti-racist. Here's the point. The first step in thinking critically about racism is to gather data, to gather information. Because if we don't do that, we have no facts with which to work. So when we talk about the head part of moving from not racist to anti-racism, we need to engage our critical faculties, and that means gathering information. So I was headed up to Cherokee County to do this talk. I started doing some research, and I discovered that in 2017, the average Black household made $20,000 less than the average white household in Cherokee County. And I was able to document that. I relied on creditable sources. I was confident in that bit of information. So as you guys know, the next step in thinking critically is, well, how do we explain the data? You have to come up with theories to explain what you've discovered. So I started thinking about, well, why is there this $20,000 gap between the household incomes in a Black family as opposed to household income in a white family? And we don't have time in a short talk like this to go into the critical thinking that I had to do to explain that, but I want to share with you the conclusion. The reason there's that $20,000 gap is because there is an economic system operating in Cherokee County that puts Black people at an economic disadvantage. And again, we don't have time to talk about how I got to that conclusion, but it is a conclusion in which I feel very confident. And another way to frame that is there is ample quantitative evidence of systemic racism operating in Cherokee County, this disparity in household income being one data point in many. So again, the second thing is we need to move from a position, if we're going to make this transition from I'm not a racist to I am anti-racism, we need to engage our head, which means we need to practice thinking critically.